Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections here for Monday, August 31st. We're going to do today's play, then a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up having a very nice day in the NBA as we ended up winning the play of the day with the Clippers -10, which was available on Fox Bet at -110. Game was pretty close. I know that the Clippers were up 20 roughly towards the end of the third quarter before Dallas went on a run. And then thanks to Kawhi Leonard taking over the game and some big threes by Reggie Jackson, ended up winning by 14 points. So we picked up a nice winner there. Plus, we also picked up a parlay winner that I gave out a couple of weeks ago in the first round series parlay with the prices. We had the Clippers -1.5 games against Dallas, and we had Boston -1.5 games against Philly. And those two ended up giving out to a two-pick parlay of plus 159 on DraftKings. So it's a very nice day overall. We're going to hope that some of that success carries over into Monday in the NBA. Now, the play of the day for the very, very limited basketball card on Monday, because there's only two games, are going to be on the early game and will be the game one of the second round series between the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. And the play that is going to be on the Miami Heat plus 5.5, which is available on DraftKings at -110 at time of recording of 2:09 a.m. Eastern time. 2:09 a.m. Eastern time. A couple reasons why I like the Heat. First of all, you're getting a good deal on the Heat at this line of 5.5. If you check FanDuel and if you check BetOnline as well as Fox Bet, they all have the Heat at +5. However, DraftKings still has plus 5.5 at time of recording at -110. So you're sacrificing no extra juice whatsoever, and you're picking up half a point of value, and that is pretty valuable, especially in this particular series where this game should be pretty close. So I like the Heat in terms of value, but the main reasons why I like the Heat are based on the actual matchup itself. First of all, Miami's performed extremely well against Milwaukee so far this season, as Miami has won 2 of the 3 regular season meetings, and the one meeting that Milwaukee has won in this series came after the restart where they ended up winning by 14 points. However, Miami was up after 3 quarters before Milwaukee outscored Miami by 20 in the fourth quarter. And that is important because of the fact that both Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic did not play in that game. So Miami was missing arguably their second best player and their best bench players, their best sixth man with Goran Dragic, and they both did not play. And yet Milwaukee still struggled against Miami for 3 quarters. So I'm a little bit concerned about Milwaukee matching up against the Heat. Jimmy Butler actually has only played in 1 of the 3 meetings in the regular season between these two teams, and the one game that he did play in, Miami won by double digits. Miami has the ability to match up defensively with Milwaukee better than almost any other team in the league. I know that Giannis is almost unstoppable, and I do agree that there's really nobody who can guard him. However, I think people would agree that Bam Adebayo is a great, at least, candidate to limit Giannis to some degree and to at least make him work for his points, especially if they force him to shoot jump shots from the outside. Now, everyone knows that Miami, along with all the other teams in the league, try to use some type of wall defense on Giannis, where they form a 3-person wall or so and try to prevent Giannis from getting to the rim. And the issue that you have there is that leads to a lot of wide-open shooters on the perimeter. However, since Bam Adebayo actually has the athleticism to at least hang with Giannis to some degree, and that should be able to help Miami's team defense because they could collapse without having to overcommit, which should allow them to get back on time to at least contest some 3-pointers from Milwaukee supporting cast, which takes me to my third point here with Milwaukee. Miami just has a significantly better bench, and I am not a fan of Milwaukee supporting cast whatsoever. I know that Middleton had some decent games in the back half of the first-round matchup against the Magic, but overall, Middleton's numbers were not good whatsoever, and he's had some issues when it comes to actually performing in the playoffs, and I think he will struggle in this series against Miami. If you want to break it down, he's played 5 games, all of them were against the Magic in the playoffs. He's averaging 15 points per game in comparison to his 20.9 points per game in the regular season. He's also shooting 36.1% from the floor in comparison to his 49.7% in the regular season. And he's also shooting 37.5% from the three-point line in comparison to his 41.5%. Plus, also worth throwing in, he's shooting 64.7% from the foul line in comparison to 91.6% from the foul line. So he's been worse in every single offensive category offensively since the playoffs have started. And I think Middleton, who is the second best option for Milwaukee, is the second best offensive player. I think he's going to struggle. And I think that Miami just has too much depth in order for Milwaukee to overcome. You have the return of Nunn, who's played well since he came back. Harrow's been great since he came back. You still have Crowder off the bench, who's provided some solid minutes and some energy. I just think Miami's bench is much better than Milwaukee, especially when you're giving the likes of Marvin Williams roughly 20 minutes a game, give or take. It's really underwhelming. Connaughton's done nothing since the start of the playoffs. DiVincenzo's done nothing since the restart of the playoffs. Korver's been okay. George Hill's been pretty good, but for the most part, the bench has been an absolute disaster, and I think that Miami should be able to take advantage of that, and I think that Miami, besides Giannis, is better in, I'd say, arguably 4 of the 5 other positions in the starting lineup. Small forward, I'd rather have Butler over Middleton any day of the week. If you want to talk about some of the other players that's worth mentioning, Nunn. I'm not a big Eric Bledsoe guy, but I think you can argue that Dragic and Nunn are, I'd say, at least combined better than Bledsoe, who's also banged up with an injury. If you want to break down the other position, center Adebayo is clearly better than Lopez, not even close. If you want to talk about Tyler Herro, he's, in my opinion, better than Wesley Matthews. I think he's a very solid player. Or Duncan Robinson. I think they're both arguably better than Wesley Matthews, who has been a bit inconsistent since the restart. So overall, I think Miami's actually going to win the series. I think that they're going to win the series in roughly 6 or 7 games. But for game one, I think they'll get off to a nice start. Milwaukee was able to get by some pretty, I'd say, underwhelming performances against an Orlando team that was completely beaten up, that had no Aaron Gordon, no Jonathan Isaac for the entire series. And I just think that Milwaukee got by on talent alone. They're not going to be able to get through with the same lack of consistency and effort in this series. And I think that will show in game one once the difficulty gets ramped up a little bit when you go from playing against Orlando to going against Miami. So the play that it once again is going to be on the Miami Heat plus 5.5, which is available on DraftKings at minus 110. I think they have a shot to win the game at plus 200 on the money line. But for safety purposes, we'll take the Heat plus 5.5 at minus 110 as the play of the day for August 31st. That's been this installment of Scott Selections. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.